Hello and welcome to the Gussets and Go Day podcast, episode number 7. My name is Christina and this is my podcast about my knitting, stitching and all my crafting endeavours. I'm coming to you from London, England, which is where I live, and thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to jump right in today with the projects I've been working on, which have been a few. I have, not podcasted in quite a while. As I said last time, I wasn't feeling well. So what I've been working on mostly is my, what's it called? My granny stripe blanket, which is crocheted. I started on this end, and when I last showed you before Christmas, I think it was before Christmas, I was here. So I just put in the yarn from my Money Honey turban, and then I've got my little Christmas stocking socks, and then all of these were from a swap until here that I did, and all of those were from another swap. It's absolutely beautiful. I've really enjoyed working on it, and what I think has made it a lot easier, runaway ball, was I started crocheting it. Where's it gone? Honestly, you can tell what's going to happen to this episode already. So I'm using this now, which is a clover hook. And this is nice on your hands. It's I guess some kind of silicone. Where's the other one gone? Honestly, just keeping it so professional around here. That's what I was originally using. So it would just hurt my fingers after doing it so long it's hard, whereas this one, I guess it's ergonomic, it's shaped, it's soft. Obviously I stayed with the same size. That's a 3mm, and I'm super happy with how it's coming along. So let's just fold it in half because it's getting big. So yeah, really beautiful. And I guess no one else's will ever look as beautiful as your own. That's the point, really. Is that, you know, I remember every single project, and I remember the swaps and those people, and, you know, when someone sends me something, I keep the lovely little cards, and which they're there. You there. Anyway. And it just makes me really happy. So once again, I'm saving, because I've used all my, my leftovers now. I've swapped them all, so I'm saving up some more, so I can do some more swaps later, because it's really worthwhile doing. Anyway, I've put in a lot of work on that, but because I'm using, I think it's quite a small hook, 3mm, and then I crochet really tightly. I don't know if you can really see that. So each of these clusters is like this size of my little fingernail. I mean, that's just very tiny. But I like it. I like that it's not holy. No toes will be poking through that, really, which is good, because not everyone likes their toes poking through. I don't. Anyway, moving on. So these lovely socks are my first finished object. And they are out of the yarn, which you can't see. It's super sparkly and beautiful. And this yarn is the Herbstblatt Regina in her gold sock, which is the sparkle. And the colour is the Vintage Ornament collection, which is so pretty. And then the toes and heels are just minis from my advent calendar that I got from Nora George, which was so much fun. I'm so glad I did it. Signed up for that advent calendar, because I've been able to work on my little scrappy project, which I still haven't finished the socks of, but I will. And then I'll put some in my blanket, and I've got some for heels and toes. So I like that you have these speckly, that one's really, so it's not just the flat pink, I think it gives it an interest. The pattern are the Wonderland socks. Ooh, the designer. Wonderland socks by Tabby from the from the Hey Sister podcast. I'll put all the details below so that you know. Anyway, I think these are my favourite socks. That slip stitch pattern was actually really easy. And they're really sparkly, which you can't see. But they are, so you just have to take my word for it. And they are lovely. Anyway, just got to sew in the ends because I haven't done that yet. I don't have a problem with sewing in ends, I just I think I finished them when I wasn't at home, and then I didn't have a darning needle because if I travel I don't carry needles or scissors with me, just in case I'm going through security in an airport or anything. Or if I go to museums and galleries, they check your handbag as well for sharp objects, so I will do that. Oh yeah, my next is an almost finished object. So it's another pair of socks, and they are self-striping, and the yarn is from West Yorkshire Spinners, and it's the Flamingo colourway. Just a vanilla sock, 64 stitches, cuff down, 2x2 rib, and I've been doing shorter socks the last few times because then you can't see them in my boots, so then the boots would finish just at the top so they don't peek through. I just need to sew in the ends there and on the toe, which I haven't done, again because these were my aeroplane. I went away for work for some training. And so these were my train and then evenings. It's a very, very woolly wool, which I like. And of all the socks I've been wearing, actually the commercial yarn, they've not bobbled at all. And I can tell these will be the same. And my feet are not sensitive to prickliness. I just have to kitchen at the top. So I knit these on 2.25mm, but I used, when I travel, I always bring one of the, are they 9-inch circulars? Yeah, I bring one of these 9-inch circulars. This is from Chiaogoo. And they knit up really quickly because you're not fiddling with the cord, you're just going round and round. Really love knitting the first sock. And I think I did in 2, maybe 3 days. It usually takes me an entire week to knit one sock, just in my free time. Not rushing it, just picking it up whenever I'm on the bus or whatever. But this one was a slog until I got to the toe. And I'd done the other toe on this, which was horrible. I magic looped with these and just took 3 times as long as ordinarily, because obviously there's not much cable. Anyway, when I got home I just had the toe to do, so I did it on the normal, my normal higher sharps, 2.25 is 32-inch cord. Well, it's 80 centimetres. And I just really loved it. So I spent nearly the whole sock hating it because I don't know, it was the needles. So this is really my preferred method. And when sometimes I get a little bit sick of the cable, and I'll just do maybe one sock with the 9-inch circulars. So my fingers, they don't cramp, it's just not super comfortable for me. And it knits up fine. I don't get a different tension. I know a lot of people do say that they get a tighter tension doing the magic loop and a looser tension with the 9-inch circulars, but I didn't find that there was a difference to that at all. So these, I love this colour yarn. I love the two contrast of the dark pink and the nearly white, but these two colours here where they're almost the same, that put me off a little bit when I was knitting it. I guess it looks a little bit more ombre. The pink goes from lighter to darker to dark. They're my Valentine socks. And then when I was away, I was in Copenhagen for a training, so we used all different machines and different fabrics than we would usually use, just to improve our sewing skills, because we do work on expensive garments at work in the department store where I work in the alterations department. And our flight was at 10 and we got to the Copenhagen town. Our flight was at 10 in the evening to go home, and we got to the town at 4. It was 4 in the afternoon, so we had a little while to kill. So I convinced my colleagues. I mean, I didn't convince them really. I just told them I was going to a yarn shop, and then they came along. I convinced one of them also to buy some yarn. So these were my souvenir. So better than a postcard or a tea towel, I think. I specifically chose something local. So this is called the Scandinavian, just Scandinavian hand dyed, which is her name of her brand. And this colour is Bleeding Thumbelina. I don't know why Thumbelina is bleeding, but she's doing it so beautifully that I had to have it. And the other one is Teal Sea. Really pretty. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. So this one is most definitely fingering weight from the label. 100% merino. This is also 100% merino. But on here it says it's got half the meterage as this. But they look exactly the same, actually. So maybe I'm just being stupid. Maybe it's labelled incorrectly. Because it doesn't have a base name. One's called Baby Star, one's called All Day. I've looked online, I can't find it, but I might just swatch it a bit and then kind of see. Are we in focus? Gosh, you know, sometimes the focus on this thing is just... Anyway. So I don't know what to make with those, but I just thought that I would put it to you that it's a good... well, you probably already do that, don't you? You already... If you're going away and there's a yarn shop, pass by and get yourself a little cheeky souvenir. While I was there, actually, they also had Opal. And I've never tried Opal. I'm sure we can get it here, but I've never seen it in a shop that I've been in. So I just happened to get 2 Opal stock yarn balls in the 5195 1628. Is that one like a cornflower? I have a dark cornflower. It's not coming up totally true. So no, there we go. And then this one is I would say a royal blue, and that one's 5187 and then 1780. And it's just their sock wool 4-ply. Anyway. I don't think I would make socks with these, but there are shawls in my future, guys, so you know, maybe that will happen. Right, do you know, I think I should talk about the giveaway while we're here, because yeah, the giveaway is going to be announced. So I found a website where I can put in the YouTube URL. There are 83 comments on my last video. And I asked for recommendations of shawl patterns, if it was your favourite or one that you think I should knit, and thank you so much to everyone who gave me a recommendation. There are so many beautiful shawls listed, so if you are thinking about doing a shawl, maybe you haven't done one before or you don't know a good pattern, go back to the last episode and just have a look. There are so many. I sat there one evening and I had my phone with the list of all the comments, and then I had my Kindle Fire, and I just went on to Ravelry for every single one and then bookmarked the ones that I loved, which was a lot of fun. So thank you so much. Now there were 83 comments, so gosh, I don't know if I meant to show you, but anyway, I put the URL in there, and without technical difficulties, here we go. It's searching for a winner, and the winner is Michelle H. Hi Michelle, you won! Her comment was, I enjoy your podcast so much, Christina. Your style is so lovely, and I love all your projects too. The embroidery you're working on is so beautiful. I'm excited to see how your dressing gown turns out. The fabric that you chose is going to be so pretty. Thank you, I think so too. I thought maybe if words were leaf shawl on Ravelry looked like something that might fit into your aesthetic. Thank you so much for the opportunity to win such a lovely prize. What a lovely comment, thank you so much. So you have won, Michelle H, the little project bag that I made with 2 notions pouches and the spectacular yarn from Herbstblatt Regina. It's her hazel soft sock, which is my favourite, in Don't Call Me Honey. Now, is that focused? Perhaps. There we go, that's definitely focused. Anyway. So Michelle, if you can either send me a Ravelry message or an Instagram message, I will send that out to you immediately, with like a couple of sweets in there and some teas, you know, just so it's a nice little package. Anyway, thank you everyone for taking part, and I will see if I can do another giveaway soon. And well done, Michelle. Good to send that present to someone. All right. Oh, they're sewing the dressing gown. Now my machine, which is this one, has not been doing so well. I don't know what's wrong with her. You know, she's usually very lovely, but she's being very mean to me recently. The tension is just bad, really bad. Especially with the half foot, the invisible zip foot, which you need when you do a piping. And there is piping. So I thought I would show you. This is going to be the Buchanan Dressing-Gown by Gather. There's the pattern. Well, this is not the pattern, this is the instruction envelope, but you get the gist. I talked about the fabric and everything last week, so I won't go into it all again, but it's a Robert Kaufman. I don't know the details because it's an old one. I've started stitching it together using French seams. So on the outside the seam is flat and ordinary, but on the outside, but on the inside, there we go, everything enclosed beautifully. Here's the pocket, the one outside pocket, and I've done a little piping in there. And typically, the piping that I ordered online was shocking. Really bad. It was the kind that's really stiff cotton, and it just would have cheapened the whole thing. So I bought some from Ray Stitch, and it's a, I mean I should have taken some out to show you, but it's a white tape, and then on the end it's got the coloured piece. just go in. There we go. And then I did these reinforced corners where you go in. There we go. Okay. Oh, and I asked at work some of the lovely ladies who do some of the more complicated garments how I do a French seam with a split underneath it. So where the seam goes up to a certain point and then it opens in two pieces. And basically there's no way of doing it without some kind of raw edge. But I did the French seam and I snipped in with my scissors. Let's go in close. And then I just poked that little bit of fabric into the seam and hand stitched along here. So that's all lovely and neat. And then I pressed open the seam, turned it under. So then this is kind of half of what's inside, and turned under the edges to create this triangle. Whoop, there we go, you can see, and then top stitched all around, and it looks beautiful on both sides actually. There's the other side. You can't see any raw edges because I've been super careful to make sure I really turned in, really just so close to this edge. I don't know why I'm showing you so close, it's like slightly ridiculous. Oh, there we go. Anyway, on Shoport shirts, which is really the only place you'd find, not necessarily a French seam, but a flat felled seam. Well, it looks the same on the inside, but it would be with a second row of stitching, like a top stitch. You'd find it in jeans as well. I don't know if it has a different name in other countries, but at the very top of the vent, the split, they would usually have a little piece of fabric in a triangle that would be top stitched there, and that just means that, I mean, if I pulled that hard, I would tear it because that's a weak point. So I'll either do a little what do you call it? Oh, I can't think of the name. Anyway, just bar tack. I do it by hand, so I would just do a big stitch and then kind of go in and wrap some little stitches around it just to really make it solid. And not that anyone's going to be pulling apart my dressing gown, but if we can avoid a point of weakness, I'm just going to try. And then I also did the inseam pockets, all French seamed, and they're French seamed on as well here. Anyway. It's not very slimming, I would say, being quilting cotton. If I'd done a lawn, it would be more floaty, but then more see-through. So I didn't want that. I wanted something that was, you know, out the bath in a dressing gown. You want it to be totally opaque. Or going to get your tea in the morning on top of your pyjamas, you know, just to cover your shoulders or whatever. Anyway, so I'm super happy with this. I used someone else's machine and was not used to it. And because I was doing it at work, because this machine was not happy, I put the piping in on these sleeves, but I'm going to take out the top stitch here because there are areas where it is dark and then areas where the print is light here with that flower and then dark here with this part. So when I go through the pale, you can really see it and it looks so ugly. I mean, you could change your coloured thread and do a pale colour until it turns dark and then a dark colour and just have loads of joins, but that is too much effort. I would maybe, if it was blocked and there were two separate colours, you know, if it was striped, say one colour was dark and one colour was light, I would do it by machine and then do a join. But because there's so many little bits, I think it would just look messy. So I'm going to unpick that and then just by hand catch the inside. Anyway, that is the sewing. I've done the knitting, I've done the sewing. And then, oh, my shawl plans. I have to share my shawl plans. I'm super excited about those. So I made a really cheeky purchase from Amy, who's a little tailoress, and I bought one of her beautiful, absolutely beautiful project bags. How lovely is that? She's very, very talented. I mean, this is put together. It's perfect. It's actually perfect. And for me to say that it's perfect, you know, working in sewing. Anyway, so I ordered Skating at the Palace. It's a fingering weight, 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. Oh, it's so sparkly. Gosh, we need sparkle vision so I can just make sparkle. So pretty. And I ordered these. And then she sent me a little extra, which was so kind of her. So I'm thinking shawl in the pink sparkle, triangle shawl, so starting from the top, and then fade in Skating at the Palace. And I can wear it with everything in spring, summer, because I'm pastel toned during those months. I haven't chosen the exact shawl actually, but I've got a few, and it will be just a very simple, totally triangular shawl. And I will start off with the top and then just fade in. She did send these little minis as well, so maybe I'll put those in at the end. Maybe not, we will see, because those could go in a nice little fade. I mean, those would definitely look good, but then that's much softer. We will see later on. I have been desperate to cast something on with these, but I wanted to show you in their skeiny form because, you know, they look so pretty like this. If you get a chance to get any of her yarn, jump at it because it's beautiful. I don't know how she makes it so magical. And with this little bag, there's a tiny envelope pouch. And it poppers. Oh, is that not the most satisfying noise ever? And a couple of little stitch markers. Because, you know, I like tea. Oh dear. Anyway. And a happy branch with a flower on it. Oh, there we are. And a little vintage swimsuit. Anyway, that was a good day. It was in the post office for ages because I kept working awkward hours, getting home late, leaving early, and I actually went to the post office twice when it was closed because I didn't check their opening hours. Standing there outside, they're holding my stuff hostage, but I got it at the end. They had it for more than a week. That was painful. Do you not get that as well? When they take your delivery to the sorting office and then the sorting office is closed and your things are just locked in there, all lonely and sad, waiting. Anyway, thank you so much, Amy. Your yarn is beautiful and your bags are spectacular. Oh, it's gonna be a shawl. Gosh, I'm getting very excited. Now, I think that that's all I have to say this episode. I would like to do more frequent episodes, so I don't knit very quickly, and I thought I could have some additional videos of, I was thinking anyway, my next one could be maybe my knitting story, tell you a little bit about how I learnt to knit, and then show you some old projects, talk you through what went right and wrong. Yeah, so that is just an idea. Let's see. Oh, and somebody asked me what this was. So sorry I didn't respond to your comment, but I didn't want to mess up the algorithm, you know, the winner drawing the winner, because I can't win my own prize. Anyway, this is a Roberts digital DAB digital radio. It's new. I got it in John Lewis a couple of years ago, and it's really lovely. And I got it so I could listen to Absolute 60s and bop around with the Motown hour that they do. And then 3 months later, I couldn't get Absolute 60s in my area anymore, so sad. That's what that is. And this here, someone asked about as well. And clearly it's a freshly caught fairy, which someone made, and it's so pretty. How cute is that? My auntie gave it to me for a Christmas, was it Christmas gift? And there's a tea light inside that's electric, and you turn it on and then you can see the silhouette of the fairy perfectly. And I usually only have it out at Christmas, but I couldn't bear to put it away this year. So she just sits in there happily. And then from time to time, I might switch it on. Yeah, I thought, they popped into my mind then. So thank you for joining me. And gosh, lots of ums in this episode, but not to worry. I'm Christina. This is Gussets and Go Days. This is my podcast. You can find me on Instagram, which I should use more often, but I'm working on it. Also on Ravelry. There's not a group there yet, but I'm working towards it. I'm not technologically very good, so I will do that. And then we can maybe do some kind of knit along, craft along type things where we all make something together. Not necessarily the same pattern, but just, you know, I like joining in with other people's knit alongs and just having a chit chat with everybody. So thank you for joining me. Thank you so much for all of your lovely messages. I didn't respond to any of them last week because I didn't want to mess up the winner, but I will now go back and have a look, and if anyone's got any questions I will now reply. So thank you. Sure I've missed something out there, but see you soon.